Just when we thought we had seen it all, new receipts that could rock the entire love and hip-hop world were revealed. Chrissy Lampins and my toxic relationship was revealed. Now, hold on. What's really happening behind the scenes? How did these two even become entangled in this web of drama, betrayal, and plain messiness? Why is Yandy is going crazy over it, and we have the evidence to support it. We're talking about leaked messages, secret meetings, and rumors of a connection so shady that even the most ardent fans are shocked. Was this the ultimate betrayal, or was it all planned? Get your popcorn ready because this tea is hot, and I promise you that by the end of this video, you won't ever. All right, buckle up because this is going to get really messy. We all know Chrissy Lampkin as the no-nonsense, say-it-like-hit is queen from Love and Hip Hop, and then we got Ems Harris, Mr. I've Changed, but we're going to dive deep into this messy, jaw-dropping scandal, and you won't believe what we found. However, what if I told you that these two have a lot more history than they're revealing? What if I told you that there is evidence that connects Chrissy and Mies in unexpected ways? Let's just say it's not pretty. To begin with, how do Chrissy and Mies even know each other? Let's face it, they haven't really crossed paths on camera like that, but there's a different backstory. If you recall, before Mendeecees even connected with Yandy Smith, he was going around in circles that were far too close to Chrissy's world. We were discussing late-night business transactions, mutual friends, and let's just say, favors being given and received. We saw her pop the question on national television, but he turned around and continued to avoid marriage for more than 10 years. Now, sources are claiming that guess who was involved in helping to make those transactions disappear? Yes, M himself. But wait, it gets worse. Chrissy and Jim always had a tumultuous relationship. What if I told you that Jim wasn't just being Jim? What if there was another reason why Jim was acting so funny? It had to do with someone who has a history of creeping in places he shouldn't be. You're all following me because this situation is going to get out of control. Rumor has it that Chrissy and M's relationship isn't just about money. Oh no, we have sources claiming that there were rumors of late-night get-togethers, low-key rendezvous, and some extremely suspicious activity between the two. Now, I don't want to start rumors, but that's precisely what we're here to do, so let's get this straight. An anonymous source with familiar knowledge recently revealed some startling information about a period of time when Jim Jones was out of town for a few weeks. And you already know where this is going, right? Mendeecees? Because guess who was conveniently seen sneaking in and out of Chrissy's former condo? Before you all say, oh, maybe he was just handling business, explain to me why these meetings were taking place late at night and why no one was supposed to be aware of them. Let's talk about these alleged business deals because, listen, when it comes to my business, things always get a little too personal, if you understand what I mean. The worst part is that Yandy lost it when she learned about it. As you are all aware, when it comes to her man, she will stop at nothing to protect me, but even she couldn't ignore the warning signs. When this story began to circulate, sources claimed that Yandy confronted me about his connection to Chrissy, and let's just say that things did not go well. She began asking him questions that he was unable to respond to, and she began bringing up receipts that he believed to be buried. The more she dug, the more things didn't add up. And this is where things get complicated because men in DC don't deny anything outright. Oh no, instead, he used the traditional "why are you bringing up old stuff" move, which he told Yandy. She was convinced that people simply enjoy talking, but this is where he made a mistake. When Yandy pressed him about those late-night visits and the timing of specific transactions, he didn't tell her she was mistaken. Instead, he simply became hushed. Men who go quiet under pressure are hiding something, so let's not forget about Chrissy and Yandy's long-standing feud. In the past, Chrissy clarified that she didn't respect Yandy, calling her messy and disrespectful, and even accusing her of attempting to control Jim's career. Now that it's been revealed that Chrissy and Mies may have been moving shady behind her back, Yandy was prepared to leave, and that's precisely what she did. Yandy wasn't about to just let it go. The slide, however, came up with receipts, energy, and smoke, and based on what we heard, Chrissy wasn't prepared. Picture this. Cameras are rolling at a private event with an exclusive guest list, and Yandy enters the room calmly. But you know that's the dangerous kind of calm, even though I have something for you. She approaches Chrissy directly, looks her in the eye, and asks, "How long are you going to stay calm?" Chrissy was shaken and tried to laugh it off by claiming that Yandy was doing too much. But Yandy wasn't having it. She pulled out screenshots of transactions and texts that seemed far too cozy for just business. And when Chrissy tried to brush it off, Yandy dropped the real bombshell. "I got someone who saw you. I've been playing with my husband and baby." Chrissy froze for the first time. The woman who was always prepared with the comeback, always 10 steps ahead, looked like she had been caught completely off guard, and she was ready to talk. That's where part 1 ends, Yin, but trust me, it only gets wilder from here. Part 2, we're going even deeper into the madness. Stay locked in, because this scandal is just getting started. Yandy wasn't. She had timestamps, screenshots, and, most importantly, someone who had seen everything. You already know how Chrissy handles being backed into a corner. She doesn't fold easily, so what does she do? She laughs in Yandy's face as if the entire situation were a joke. She said, "Girl, you must be really bored to be making up stories like this." But see, Yandy isn't flinch. She pulled out. The real chaos began when her phone tapped the screen and said, "You might want to hear what this person has to say before you start laughing too hard." The room fell silent, and Chrissy's expression briefly changed, but Yandy saw it. And that was all Yandy needed. Now, let's discuss this mystery witness, because who is this individual, and how did they have direct knowledge of Chrissy and M's alleged business? Well, this is where things get complicated. The individual in question is none other than a former colleague of M's who used to manage some of his transactions. Let's call him Dre. Dre had been with Mies for years, so he was familiar with how Mies operated, who he met, where he transferred his money, and most importantly, who. When he wasn't with Yandy, he was hanging out with Dre, and guess what? He had receipts. Now, let's take a moment to stop, because Chrissy was still trying to act unconcerned at this point, sipping her drink as if nothing that Dre was saying mattered. However, when he hit play on the voice recording, the entire room burst out laughing because it was so obvious that Dre was discussing how he personally. Hellman D repeatedly drove Moses to Chrissy's location, telling him, "I keep this low-key. I don't need no extra eyes on me." The part that really shocked me was when Dre said, "Mez told me himself that Chrissy got something over him, which is why he kept going back." At this point, the tension in the room was so intense that you could cut it with a knife, and Chrissy's face changed from smug to stone. Cold, but Yandy, she was enjoying this. She leaned in and said, "You want to continue laughing now, or should I continue?" Chrissy yelled, got to her feet so quickly, filled her drinks, and walked straight into Yandy's face, pointing fingers as if she was about to throw them. "Why do you think I have to explain myself to you over a phony-ass recording of you getting to Yandy? It's embarrassing." But here's the thing, Yandy wasn't just talking, she had proof. She displayed a text exchange between Chrissy and Moses that had been forwarded from an anonymous source. It wasn't particularly romantic, but the language was suspicious as hell. "Mrs., are you sure everything is good? Nobody is asking questions, right?" "Chrissy, no, you know I got this just." Chrissy was furious at this point and turned to the crowd, shaking her head like, "Yandy, keep taking care of what you need to take care of. I'm not worried about anything as long as you keep your end tight. Now tell me, does that sound like just business to you? Jim Jones and I had never been cool like that, so why was I taking care of anything for Chrissy? Was insane. You guys really thought this nonsense was real, but guess what? Not everyone in the room was standing up for her. Some were giggling at her, and some were whispering. You know how it goes. Once creepiness creeps in, it spreads quickly, so Yandy gave her the final blow. "If it's all lies, Chrissy, why are you looking so uncomfortable right now?" Boom, Chrissy finished and took her purse. The internet went crazy after she rolled her eyes and stormed out, and you all already know what happened next. Videos of the confrontation were leaked within hours, and blogs picked it up. Twitter was in ruins, and people began to seriously question whether it was true. The problem is that, although he didn't deny it or try to clear his name, he just remained silent. And if we know one thing about Mendeecees, it's that he loves to defend himself. So why didn't he say anything now unless he knew he couldn't? At this point, Yandy was done with him. She took her kids out of the house and, according to sources, stopped returning his calls. Now, this isn't just a small argument, because if what Yandy was saying was accurate, then M has been lying to her for. Years have also shown that Chrissy has been acting slyly throughout that time. Finally, the most important question of all is, what exactly does Chrissy have over Mendeecees? Dre mentioned that Mendeecees told him she had something on him, and that my friends were the part that shocked everyone. How could Chrissy know that Mendeecees is still acting in accordance with her rules, and why hasn't Jim spoken up? Regarding any of this, you guys are only scratching the surface because, believe me, it goes much deeper. And in part 3, we're taking it all the way there. This story is far from over, so stay tuned because, believe me, if you thought the first 2 parts were crazy, you're not prepared for what's about to happen because this is where we really break down what Chrissy has over months and why he might never be able to leave whatever deal they have going on. As you are already aware, the internet is consuming this, so let's get started. Following the altercation with Yandy Chrissy, she left the room so quickly that you would think she was being pursued, and I'm still mute. The way social media operates is that when you don't defend yourself, people start creating their own stories, and then the theory took off. At first, people believed that perhaps Chrissy and I had a past relationship that Yandy was unaware of, such as a relationship that existed before Jim and before Yandy. However, that theory didn't last long because new information began to surface, and this was the part that shocked everyone. A so-called industry insider who claims to have been in business for years came forward with some information that completely altered the story. They said that Mendeecees allegedly engaged in some illegal business back in the day. As we all know, Mendeecees has already served time for drug trafficking, but it appears that there is more to that story than we were aware of because, according to this insider, if it's true, then this whole situation takes an entirely different turn. It's not just about sly text messages and covert meetings. It's about Chrissy having actual legal leverage over Mendeecees, which is why he can't cut. Chrissy was actually involved with some of the same people M was dealing with, and not just as an outsider. Relationships with her because if he does, she might start talking, and men in DC can't afford that. Now, let's go back a little because this part is crazy. Apparently, in the early 2000s, before Mendeecees was imprisoned, he and Chrissy crossed paths in an unexpected way because Chrissy has always been living deep in the streets, as you may recall. When he was first locked up, he likely thought he was leaving all of that behind, but Chrissy didn't, and more significantly, she kept receipts because, according to the so-called insider, Chrissy had information that could land Mendeecees in serious trouble. Players from the past and sources claim she knew a little too much about certain people's operations, including Mendeecees. He can't leave her because he owes her, and it appears that she never forgets it. Now, this part is going to make your head spin because people began piecing together the facts and realized that this isn't the first time Chrissy has used information as leverage. You see, back in the day, Chrissy wasn't just a Jim Jones girl, she was involved with some of the major hip-hop figures, and let's just say that she was able to move in such a way because she knew things that people would rather not have known. People were afraid to cross her because she would start talking if they did, and now it appears that Mendeecees is just another person caught in her web. To make matters worse, Jim Jones hasn't said anything or sent a tweet. Not a declaration, nothing, and let's face it, Jim isn't the kind to keep quiet, so why is he acting as though he doesn't understand what's going on? Some people claim that he already knew about Chrissy and M's arrangement, and perhaps he doesn't want any smoke because, after all, if Chrissy has dirt on me, who's to say she doesn't have dirt on Gi too? That's why he's remaining silent now. Everything is falling apart. What is Yandy doing? The last time we looked, she left, took the kids, packed her bags, and dipped. Honestly, can you blame her for everything she's been through with me? If the rumors are accurate, then Yandy just escaped punishment because, let's face it, if Chrissy has been harboring resentment toward me for years, who is to say this? At this point, the damage has already been done, and Chrissy's reputation has never been the cleanest, so this just adds fuel to the fire. He now has to answer some serious questions, and Yandy may have just saved herself from an even worse situation. But the real question is whether Chrissy will start talking, because this story isn't over, and believe me, when the next piece of tea drops, we'll be right here to break it all down. Tell me, what do you think? If she truly does have dirt on Mendeecees, what's stopping her from exposing it? Or better yet, what if she already has? What if that leaked text thread was just the beginning? What if Chrissy's about to spill everything and leave ends with no way out? If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Click that button, turn on your notifications, and get ready because this story is only going to get wilder. I'll see you in the coming days. Chrissy is really holding something over me, or is it just another instance of messy industry drama? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Boiling, and I'm aware that the comment section is going to blow up, so I have to ask what you guys think is actually happening here. Is Chrissy playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers? Is Mendeecees truly trapped in a situation from which he can't escape? And more importantly, what will Yandy do next? If this drama continues to play out the way it is, I would be shocked if someone revealed even more receipts shortly, so please leave a comment below and let me know which side you all support. Furthermore, remember that if you want to stay up to date on the most recent messy and explosive celebrity scandals, you must be locked in right here. So hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications, because we aren't done yet, baby. Trust me, the next. I'll see you all at the next one. Stay messy. An update on this scenario is coming. It's going to get much more crazy.